Hi, this is Dr. Justin here, and today's talk is on migraines and what the common causes of migraines are. Well, again, the conventional treatment for migraines are going to be something along the lines of an NSAID, an ibuprofen, or Tylenol, or even something like an Imitrex. And just to note, ibuprofen kills 20,000 people a year taken correctly, according to the New England Journal of Medicine in 1999. So we really want to avoid using medications that are potentially dangerous, and we always want to address the underlying cause of what's causing our health challenges. So one of the first causes I see with migraine health really is nutritional deficiencies. So we have patients that may be taking a good supplement and may be eating good food and still may be in that category. And why that may be? Well, if we're having gut inflammation, whether it be due to a food allergen or an infection, our body's ability to absorb nutrition is significantly impaired. So think of these fingers right here as like the finger-like projections in your small intestine called the microvilli. These are like the vacuum cleaners that suck up nutrition. So we may have calcium being sucked up, or vitamin C, or iron, or magnesium. Each one of these villi has a job of sucking up nutrition. And the more infections we have in our gut, or the more inflammation, or the more food allergens we're exposed to, the more these villi shrink up, and the harder it is for us to actually absorb these nutrition and nutrients, even if we're on a good supplement, even if we're eating decent food outside of the food allergens. So again, the first things first, getting the infections out, getting the food allergens out is going to help improve our nutritional status. Second, artificial sweeteners. Sweeteners like aspartame and Splenda I've seen cause migraines in many different patients. So cutting aspartame out and cutting Splenda out are a really big help. Now if you're looking for a natural sweetener, stevia is a great option. I'm a big fan though of using the sweet leaf version, as other versions tend to have maltodextrin on the back, which is another artificial sweetener made from corn or grains. That's a little tidbit there for you. Next, structural abnormalities. So we find the joints in our neck, especially the first joint called the C1 or the atlas, they're designed to move. 90% of communication to the brain is actually through movement of the joint. So if we have a vertebrae here and a vertebrae here in our neck, and they're stuck or they aren't moving properly, or maybe they're even misaligned, we're going to get poor communication up to the brain, and this may even cause an abnormality in our posture that creates tension up the neck, which refers pain in and around the head that may feel like a migraine. So if we have poor joint alignment or even poor joint motion, this could potentially cause a migraine headache. Seeing a good chiropractor, a good upper cervical chiropractor, or someone who's specialized in basically assessing and figuring out what joint is stuck and fixing it, that'd be a good solution to the problem. But not all migraines are caused by a structural issue. Next, hormonal imbalances or blood sugar. So again, if our blood sugar is going up and down throughout the day because we're going too long between meals, or we're eating too much refined sugar or junk, that's going to put a lot of stress on our adrenals, and we're going to have to make excessive cortisol and adrenaline to help balance blood sugar out. Now, that also contributes to hormone imbalances as well. So we find, having run many hormone cycle tests throughout the month, estrogen ebbs and flows throughout the cycle. All right? It's high in the first half of the cycle, and it tends to drop in the second half of the cycle. So when we look at a hormone test, if we see up and down spikes of estrogen, that tends to correlate to symptoms of migraine headaches. So balancing out someone's blood sugar and hormones with plant-based natural programs and diet and lifestyle can actually help fix migraine headaches in many females. And many females may know too, it happens at certain time throughout the month, maybe just before ovulation or just before menstruation, or maybe right after menstruation. There's usually that consistent time that happens. And if we see that, then we know it's a blood sugar, adrenal, female hormone kind of etiology. Next is gluten. There's an interesting study that came out by the American Journal of Gastroenterology showing that gluten-sensitive individuals who are on a gluten-free diet for a certain amount of time, they actually saw an increased amount of perfusion, blood flow, to the areas of the brain called the frontal cortex. Now the frontal cortex is actually responsible for personality, memory, kind of makes you who you are, makes us humans different than most other species because of that frontal cortex. So they found when going gluten-free, and going grain-free, that we actually were able to get better blood flow to the frontal cortex, and migraines were magically eradicated. So it's interesting. Imagine crossing your legs for a few hours, like so, and then running across a room. I mean, you'd probably trip and fall. Well, the same thing. If we're having poor blood flow to our brain because maybe we're eating pancakes for breakfast, pizza for lunch, and pasta for dinner, that's going to affect our blood flow to the brain and may starve our brain of oxygen and nutrition. And as a result, we may have a migraine headache. So cutting out gluten can be a really, really important step. So overall, we kind of gave everyone a couple of things to think about. Now, the cause of your migraine headache may not be the same as someone else's. So it's really important that you get assessed and figure out exactly what your cause is and work with someone that can help figure that out as well. For any questions, please feel free and call or email the office. And I hope you found this video very helpful. Thanks. Have a great day.